What's up, guys? I am reacting to the full documentary, Gander's Ripple Effect, How a Small Town's Kindness Opened on Broadway. And it's the story of what the people of Gander, Newfoundland did in the aftermath of 9/11, which is just a heartwarming story, and then how that ultimately translated and segued into a musical, of all things. So I've been a little ambitious to do this whole documentary. I hope you watch it, and let's get to part 3.
The important performance that we're going to give.
We were here when all this happened, and we all had part into it, so it was just to see if they're doing it right.
I have to put my earbuds in.
5 years ago, we were touring the airport, and Reg Wright gave us this amazing tour, 3 or 4 hours, and at the end of it he said, "Now, what are you writing? What are you doing? A story about people making sandwiches?" And we said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, good luck with that." People keep saying, "Is this a dream come true for you?" And this is beyond our wildest dreams. It's impossible to say how much this means to us. There are so many people who made this possible. I just want to thank Junkyard Dog Productions. I want to thank everyone here in Gander and the surrounding areas, everyone at Town Hall, Mayor Elliott, Kelly Sevier, and everyone who brought a Broadway musical to the hockey arena here. It's amazing. What we hope is that you and your loved ones will recognize yourselves on stage. We tried to always remain true to the truth of the interviews that you gave us, and that's why we're here today.
The cast of Come From Away.
During 9/11, there was so much food made and donated, this hockey rink was converted into a walk-in freezer. Today it's standing in for a Broadway stage for 2 sold-out shows to benefit local charities. And when the cast sang the finale, everyone in the place was on their feet.
I just thought it was out of this world. Oh my God, I mean, yeah, you're crying one minute and you're clapping and you're dancing.
I was just about to ask a very stupid question, and I thought better of it. That's why I paused.
So touching. I loved it. I loved it. And I want to go to see it in New York.
I didn't even feel like I was sitting here in Gander. She said I felt like I was on Broadway. They are an incredible, talented group of people, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was a fantastic show, there's no question. I mean, I saw it in Seattle and I saw it in Washington, but I don't think that takes anything to what I saw here this afternoon. It was more emotional. It seems like the cast was more into it because in talking to them, they feel part of the community, and they wanted to put on a good show for the people in Gander and the province, and I tell you, they did not disappoint us today.
The cast and crew came home looking for Gander's approval, but they got much more than that.
Look out, Stubby! Here it comes!
Now's time to celebrate.
If New Yorkers can muster half this energy, Come From Away will beat the odds.
Heave away, me Johnny's heave away. And if you find another week, the lovers of a road.
Come From Away's open arms message has meant a booming box office in the month-long run-up to opening night. New Yorkers are embracing the musical as an antidote to Trump's travel bans and Mexican walls.
The show's message about encountering the stranger, about welcoming the other, is more striking now because it's at odds with public policy both in Britain and the US, each of which are now in a moment of greater hostility toward immigrants. And so I think a lot of people are focusing on that aspect of the show in a way that's more intense than the creators could have anticipated when they started working on this.
The producers brought the people of Gander.
So yeah, I mean, I'm going to try and keeping this channel apolitical, and I don't want to offend anybody. So it was all I'll just say is focusing on the story at hand. I respect the hell out of the kindness of strangers who are willing to open their arms and hearts to someone who is not them.
In Appleton to New York for the official Broadway opening. But before walking the red carpet, Beulah Cooper wanted to see her old friends Hannah and Dennis O'Rourke.
My God, look at her!
Oh
What a
my
reaction.
God, I love you. You thought you saw the last of me, didn't you?
I was thinking of you yesterday and all that snow. How are you?
I had to come back and see
God,
you.
Jesus, come on. Will you leave your shoes on, for Christ's sake? Hello, how are you?
Beulah met Hannah and her husband Dennis at the Gander Legion during 9/11. Both women had firefighter sons in common. But while they were stranded in Gander, Hannah and Dennis couldn't reach their son Kevin. He'd been called to the World Trade Center. The 9/11 Memorial Museum may be the quietest place in Manhattan. New Yorkers still find it difficult to come here. Most of the visitors are tourists, like the Central Newfoundlanders here today, trying to
I
digest
went
the
once
scope
just
of the
to see
event
it, but
that sent 7,000 people their way.
There are a lot of reading sources about 9/11, but when they come and they see, the crushed Ladder 3 truck or a little tiny segment of what had been, a football-sized communication mast on the North Tower, it's very powerful for them. It's a real mathematical reckoning of the size of this event. And I think you need to know the size of the event to understand the ramifications that became global thereafter.
I come from a family of sort of first responders. So when you look at, and I come into this place and see what's going on and realize how many firefighters, EMTs, police officers, Port Authority, how many people.
And as I said in one of the prior segments to this reaction is that I understand Canadian firefighters came down to help on the recovery effort, and a lot of them have suffered from the illnesses from breathing in that toxic air, just as our first responders have unfortunately been suffering and dying from that as well.
They lost their lives in this area. It's just so hard to be here. It was almost like you could feel the souls of everybody. You knew that they were there, and it's that same feeling again today when I'm in here, and that's why I even took off my hat, because that type of respect they need, and it's almost like they're here.
Before they leave the 9/11 memorial, Beulah searches for Kevin O'Rourke's name on the fountain.
There you go. There you go. There you are right there.
It's emotional. It's emotional. Because they've become very dear friends of mine, Anna and Dennis, and I keep in touch with them all the time. We phone each other. In fact, they're coming to the show Sunday night, and I just found that out.
The tragedy, and what they must have been going through
so far away, can't get home, want to be home with your family, and we all got to put ourselves in that position, and that is very terrifying. I'm glad to be here to see this, you know, and remind us of it's never take
Very
life for
respectful.
granted.
These people are very respectful.
Back in 2001, when the very act of applause seemed disrespectful, Broadway shows closed and Times Square emptied. Now one of the hottest tickets is Come From Away, a show about that time.
It felt like there was this overall sense of kindness, this overall sense of we were all in it together, that there weren't any barriers. You could reach out to anyone, regardless of race or religion or where they were from. You could say, "Are you okay?" And it feels like somehow we've lost that there was this sense, and not just in New York, around the world, in Canada and everywhere, there was a sense of we were all going through this together and we all needed each other. And I think that's why the story of what happened in Newfoundland resonated with us.
Now we're getting support from the New York audiences. I mean, they are aggressively appreciative of this show. Our show runs straight through without an intermission.
New Yorkers aggressively appreciative. That's a very funny way to put it. Can't say she's wrong.
And we don't stop and clap for numbers, and they don't care sometimes. They're just like, no.
Yeah.
We're going to clap for this now. So
We're gonna clap for this now. No matter what you say.
you best
love
just
yous.
wait for us to finish showing our appreciation. And we're just like, okay. You know, and at the end of the show, just, you know, there's a standing ovation, and it's just, boom, like it's just.
Yeah, every single night. It's been amazing.
It's been amazing.
It's safe to say there's never been a Broadway red carpet quite like this one. How surreal has this week been for you? That's the word everyone is using.
Oh no, we do this all the time. It's been amazing. It really, to be invited, we never expected any of this at any stage. On 9/11, 10 years later, we got invited to Toronto. When we were invited to Toronto, we never dreamt of being invited to New York.
So we're live right now to the CBC network. Is there something you'd like to say to some of the other people in Gander?
So this was, I guess, she said being invited to Toronto. I guess this play was ran in Toronto. Does Toronto have a Broadway type theater district like London has the West End? Let me know. Just curious.
Who volunteered and gave so much of their time?
Thank you. Every single one of them deserves to be here. I didn't know we were live. The actress that portrays the Beulah character portrays me as a teacher at Gander Academy. Was one of many teachers in one of many schools. She also portrays Beulah Cooper, who is a volunteer at the Service Club at the Legion, one of many volunteers in one of many service clubs in one of many communities. On behalf of everybody else, I'm really going to enjoy this.
I've talked to people who are really sensitive to the whole day, and they said, I don't see how they could make a musical about it. And they almost see it like selling souvenirs at Ground Zero, but then everybody I know has warmed up to it and saw the sorrowful.
So that's what I was saying in one of the other segments. I just can't imagine making a musical about anything having to do with that day except this, because this is not the story of the tragedy. This is the story of wonderful people coming together to help their fellow human beings in need.
What it really is. Most of the good things that happened that day were about people responding to other people in need, and this certainly was that kind of story. A real incredible thing. I can't say that it wouldn't happen here. It would just be different. A little more jaded, a little more fear about what are you getting yourself into?
Not much reserve when it comes to Newfoundlanders.
Yeah.
We don't even know the meaning of the word reserve.
Yeah.
Come on in, sit down, have a drink, and have a good time.
Right,
have a cup of tea, boy.
Given what's been going on in the country the last couple months and the sort of division in the country, just to see a story of people reaching out and helping each other and being neighborly and kind, I just felt it had so much resonance for the world we're living in now.
Okay, that's a good place to stop this this segment, and I'm gonna pick it up for the final segment. We've got about a little over 10 minutes to go. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. See you soon.